Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the city of Brewer steps up and hosts a fundraiser to support those impacted by the Robbins Lumber Mill fire.
Plus, a nonprofit counseling service is reopening in Bangor. We'll have the latest on that ahead.
And Bangor Pride is happening tomorrow with some new changes. We'll tell you what you can expect.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, happy Friday.
We'll have those stories and more coming up. We also have a special visitor joining us to tell us about the Cryptozoology Museum that's opened up in Bangor this month.
I'm very intrigued by this.
Yeah, me too. I haven't been there yet, but we'll learn some of the things to expect. But first, to check that forecast. The weekend's finally upon us. Everybody wants great weather. Today looks like it's going to be on the rainy side. Tomorrow, not terrible. We'll have cloudy skies with a chance of thunderstorms, but I think it'll be dry enough for the Pride Festival.
Let's hope so.
So many events are going on tomorrow around the area. You can't let the rain stop you.
No. Hopefully we get some breaks of sunshine. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. We are watching an area of low pressure moving in from the west and going toward the east, causing some rain showers to develop this morning. Even some thunderstorms up in parts of Canada. Right now, we are not seeing any of that. Just some rain that's currently approaching. Some decent downpours at times. We're definitely welcoming now with some areas still dealing with a little bit of drought. We'll still deal with some thunderstorm opportunities on and off throughout the daytime period today. But as we do push forward in time, Futurecast showing some scattered showers and thunderstorms on and off today. As we head towards later on tonight, the precipitation will back off. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky with areas of dense fog developing. As we do push forward in time, notice we still have some areas dealing with some drought conditions. So again, we'll definitely welcome the precipitation as we do make a dent in that drought. But as we do take a look at the forecast for today, lower 70s, scattered showers and some thunderstorms, and that south wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we do check out your hourly forecast for today, there's some rain, some thunderstorms expected today too. Temperatures not warming up all that much, only making it into the upper 60s to lower 70s for the afternoon period. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you very much, Devin. We'll see you later on with your full forecast. Well, first this morning, a structure fire breaks out in Ellsworth and causes firefighters to respond. It happened around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon when a 911 call reported an outside fire involving hay bales, which quickly spread to the back of 10 Franklin Street. It also impacted an adjacent structure and surrounding trees. Firefighters knew they had to work quickly. City officials say the Ellsworth Fire Department did respond fast, and within a half hour they had that fire under control, keeping it from spreading further. There are no injuries reported, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
In other news, the suspect in a Bangor stabbing has been arrested in a stolen vehicle in another state. Just before midnight on June 20th, police were called to a residence on Essex Street for an alleged assault involving a knife. Bangor Police Department spokesperson Katie England says that when officers arrived, they found the victim with critical stab injuries. England says that 37-year-old Abel Perez of Bangor was identified as the suspect, but he had fled the scene. She says that police learned that the victim's car was reported stolen by a neighbor while the victim was still in the hospital. And just before 9:30 a.m. on June 22nd, investigators in Bangor were contacted by the Guilderland, New York Police Department, which had stopped that stolen vehicle and took Perez into custody. He's being charged with attempted murder, elevated aggravated assault, domestic violence assault, and theft by unauthorized taking.
Well, a man initially arrested in connection with a shooting on a trail in Bangor has been arrested once again. Officers responded to the Talbot Trail off Stillwater Avenue back on June 15th after getting a 911 call from a homeless man who said he had been shot several times during an unprovoked attack by an unknown man. 38-year-old Justin Grover of Bangor was arrested 2 days later and charged with possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. Then he was released on bail. But Bangor police say after an extensive investigation, Grover was arrested again yesterday. He's now being charged with elevated aggravated assault due to his alleged involvement in that shooting. He's being held on $100,000 bail.
Well, the Penobscot grand jury has indicted a man who was allegedly involved in a stabbing in Bangor back in April. Bangor Police Department spokesperson Katie England says that officers were called to Center Street on April 11th for a report of someone being attacked with a knife. She says the officers learned that a man had been stabbed in the arm and sustained minor injuries. According to England, the officers determined 20-year-old Hunter Targum was the alleged assailant, but then he had fled on foot. He was arrested a few days later. The grand jury indicted Targum on several charges, included aggravated assault, threatening display of a weapon, and violation of conditions of release.
A hearing was held in Kennebec County Superior Court Thursday in connection with the trial for an Oakland daycare owner who's accused of killing an infant. The state has filed a motion to disqualify defense attorney Bob Sandy. Attorney Sandy represents Lisa Barney, who was charged in 2024 with manslaughter for the death of a 4-month-old in the fall of 2023. The trial was set to begin at the end of May, but it was postponed. And at a hearing in Augusta yesterday, the Assistant Attorney General argued that there is a possible conflict with Sandy that could impact materials and witnesses used in the trial, and that he should be disqualified from the case.
My job as a prosecutor is not just to seek convictions and to get prison sentences and all of those things. It is to ensure that this process has integrity.
The important point for me is not who did it. The important point is who didn't do it. And that's Lisa Barney. That's the focus.
Now, the state and defense declined to comment, and the judge has taken the matter under advisement.
Meanwhile, a Washington County man who was charged in the connection with the murder of a Perry woman was back in court yesterday on probation violation. Donald Dana, along with Kaylee Brackett, both of Perry, were charged and tried for murder. But a mistrial was declared after jurors were deadlocked on the charge against Dana. On Thursday, he appeared via Zoom for a court hearing related to an alleged probation violation. On April 9th of this year, the state filed a motion to revoke Donald Dana's probation. Dana waived his right to a formal hearing and admitted to the violations. The state recommended personal recognizance bail and participation in a program at a sober living facility. Donald Dana is due back in court on October 1st.
The U.S. District Court judge ruled yesterday that the federal government cannot decide who can vote by mail. This comes on the heels of yesterday's remarks by the Postmaster General that the U.S. Postal Service will decline to deliver mail-in ballots in states that refuse to provide voter data to the federal government. 30 states have declined to share state voter lists, including the state of Maine. Secretary of State Shenna Bellows issued a statement following the court's decision, saying, quote, "The idea that the U.S. Postal Service would refuse to deliver ballots in a state where we have properly refused the Trump administration's demands for voter data is an illegal and unconstitutional attempt to keep Americans from voting. We've won every court case on this issue, and we're not going to back down now in defending Maine's voting rights."
Well, firefighters from Rangeley had an unusual rescue yesterday. They helped save a dog that had jumped from an apartment window onto the second floor. Firefighters used a ladder to go get that dog. They calmly guided it back through the window to its waiting owner. And it's apparently not the first time the pooch managed to make it onto the roof there.
I think I'd be concerned too, but looks like the dog knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it seems fine.
He just likes the view up there.
Yeah.
No problem. Well, meanwhile, the city of Brewer stepped up to support those who were impacted by last month's terrible explosion and fire at Robbins Lumber Company. Last night, city leaders in Brewer, along with volunteers and members of the community, put on a day of community caring as a way to support those impacted. Our Callie Warren takes us to the Neighbors Helping Heroes event.
Brewer is our tagline has always been a community of caring, and we wanted to be able to step up and help, so we have a fun-filled night.
It was fun for the whole family at Brewer's Doyle Field on Thursday. But behind the bounce houses, ice cream and laughter.
It's about getting together and caring for each other.
Is a very worthy cause.
This is an event to assist in some financial relief. It's a fundraiser for the Robbins lumber victims.
After tragedy struck Searsmont last month, the city of Brewer wanted to step up and help. Even though they're an hour away, city leaders say they still remain Searsmont strong.
This could happen anywhere to anyone at any time, and it could have been any one of our people here or any other neighboring jurisdiction. And we needed to do something not only to help the people impacted, but to also show our support for all of our first responders.
Fire, EMS, police, we're all doing the same work. We're out serving the community. We're putting ourselves in danger to help protect the community and keep them safe. And we're helping each other. That's what it's all about, is showing support for each other.
All proceeds from the event went to the Waldo County Firefighters Association to support impacted families and departments.
I'm very, very proud of this city and this community.
In Brewer, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a nice thing to do.
Yeah, looks like they had a great turnout.
Yeah.
The time now is 8:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, many people in Bangor enjoyed the nice weather yesterday at the annual Summer Block Party.
We'll join the fun coming up, but first another look at that forecast. Rather cloudy day today with a chance of scattered rain and thunderstorms. High temperatures around 70 degrees. More unsettled weather tonight with lows dropping down to the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy for your Saturday with a slight chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures around 77. We'll be right back.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Family owned and operating in the Bangor area for more than 10 years. Crosby's Welding is here to help you. We specialize in steel, stainless steel, and aluminum welding and fabrication. We serve many of the local industries from Maine lobstermen to the commercial trucking industry and everything in between. Fully mobile on-site construction services right down to custom signs and fire pits. Fast, friendly, reliable service. Give us a call today for a free estimate, 974-7815.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, you have built the perfect line. I'm Deborah Norval, and this is the perfect line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. Oh, this is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, the town of Lincoln will be once again without a town manager. Lincoln Communications Director Sean Rogers confirmed with us that interim town manager Wade Schaefer has resigned less than 2 months after being hired. Schaefer's resignation immediately follows a contentious budget hearing on Monday in which the council approved significant reductions to public safety spending and other municipal departments. Schaefer was appointed by the town council back in May. He was hired after former town manager Dennis Bullen was fired by the council. Bullen was fired less than 2 months into that role and previously told us that the council's decision stemmed from disagreements over budget priorities. Schaefer's resignation now marks the 4th time in less than a year that Lincoln has lost a town manager. It's unclear when Schaefer's last day will be, and an employee has confirmed that he was at the office yesterday, but he was not available for comment.
Well, to say hundreds of people in Bangor enjoyed the sun yesterday would be an understatement. Community members, organizations, and more gathered at Bangor's largest playground for the 15th annual Summer Block Party. Hosted by Bangor Housing Authority and the Boys and Girls Club of Bangor, people could enjoy the splash pad, a trampoline park, and a rock climbing wall.
We did it originally over on the Down East School property, and then once we built the splash pad, we moved it here, and it really has grown in size over the years.
We all look forward to it. It's the heart of our work. It's coming together and really celebrating the relationships that are built here in this community.
Well, Myatt says the annual get-together started 15 years ago as a way for kids to enjoy the end of the school year.
Definitely looks like a blast. Well, one of Bangor's biggest celebrations of the year is happening tomorrow, but when Pride Fest returns this weekend, those attending may notice a few changes. Our Alex Schley has more on what you can expect.
For more than 3 decades, Bangor Pride has served as both a celebration and show of support for the LGBTQ+ community. This year, organizers say the festival has a new location.
So we have moved the Bangor Pride Festival to the waterfront to allow for a more cohesive space where we can actually spread out and have everything all together.
Bangor's first Pride event was held in 1992, 20 years before same-sex marriage became legal in Maine. Organizers say the event has grown significantly since then, while continuing to send the same message of inclusion and acceptance.
It's still very important to have Pride to show that Bangor is a safe city for LGBTQIA+ people.
In past years, the parade has wound its way through downtown Bangor, ending near the heart of the city celebration. This year, organizers say they revised the route.
We are going through a little bit of downtown. We're going to turn on Water Street towards the parking garage and then turn on Broad Street up to the Sea Dog.
The parade will begin in downtown Bangor, but will spend less time navigating the city streets before heading towards the waterfront.
That way, people who have trailers can actually still easily be in it rather than navigate some of those really tight corners downtown. It's very accessible, the lengthwise, and the sidewalks and the waterfront are much flatter, nicer for people and with mobility needs.
Once the parade reaches the waterfront, attendees will find a full day of activities.
Around the waterfront, we're going to have almost 200 vendors and resources. The Northern Light mobile mammogram unit's going to be there. Maine Family Planning Health on Wheels unit's going to be there. Bangor Public Health is doing HIV and Hep C testing on site.
Organizers expect thousands will take part in this year's celebration. For more information on Bangor Pride events and a full schedule of activities, go to our website, foxbangor.com. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Boy, there's so many events going on tomorrow.
There really is. Let's hope the weather holds out for all of them.
I think it will be okay.
Hopefully, yes. Yeah. Well, the time now is 8:17. After the break, many major Supreme Court decisions were handed down yesterday. We'll have those details coming up.
Plus, 2 tech giants are raising prices on popular products. We'll tell you why as Good Morning Maine continues.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Maine's farms are being sold to China. Chinese criminal networks are infiltrating rural Maine. But Senator Susan Collins is fighting back. Susan Collins voted to stop China from buying up our farmland. And Collins is helping to crack down on Chinese organized crime. Collins delivered millions in more resources for local law enforcement, protecting our families, our farms, and bringing big money back home to Maine. Call and tell Senator Susan Collins to keep protecting rural Maine.
Hi, Rich Robichaud from J&J Auto Salvage. Yep, been here 40 years, retiring this year. Turning the reins over to Anthony and the boys, hope to serve you for another 40 years. The next time you're thinking about saving money on your car, give us a call. We got fenders, doors, motors, transmissions, you name it, whatever it is, we have it. We're down on the Brewer Lake Road. Everything we sell carries a 90-day warranty. And don't forget, best attitude in the business.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
A nonprofit counseling service is reopening in Bangor after moving locations.
Our Sam Miller with that story.
After its initial opening in October of 2025, the Saving Grace Counseling Center has reopened its doors at a new location, where they aim to apply their original approach to mental health counseling. The nonprofit offers care and support for people who may not be able to access it, with services including marriage counseling, family therapy, and life coaching. Saving Grace President and CEO Scott Hosier says the job itself is a reward all its own, and everyone who walks in the door is welcome.
You have no background when you come here. We do not hold you guilty for anything. When you walk through a door, that's all we know about you. That's all we want to know about you unless you share. If it pertains to your counseling, then fine. But your background, we have nothing against anybody because we don't know them. And they're coming to us for help, and we want to be there for the help.
The center asks clients to commit to a flexible 12-week counseling program. They are not obligated to continue once it's finished. However, ongoing care is available if needed. Joan Reinholdson, the COO of Saving Grace, says they're seeking help through donations, and helping people build themselves back up is the biggest priority.
We're always looking for business partners to come alongside and help us out. When you help individuals or couples in your community, you're really helping yourself because it becomes stronger and there's less stigma around mental health. And people can learn those communication skills, they can learn those life skills that will benefit their community further.
You can help donate to the center through their website at www.savinggracecounselingcenter.org. In Bangor, Sam Miller, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Congratulations to them.
Well, the time now is 8:22. Let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Let's check out the wave heights this morning at around 2 feet according to the buoys, and still looking reasonable farther off towards the north and east. No advisories along the coast or even inland either. We're looking pretty good. Farther out towards sea at around 3 to 4 feet, so no major activity looking out toward the Atlantic Ocean. Water temperatures in the upper 50s this morning, and water temperatures still in the 50s and 60s at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we do have some rain showers developing. At times in Canada, we've even had some thunderstorms. No thunderstorms for us at this time. We'll be watching for those developing throughout the daytime period today. As we do zoom things out, that area low pressure is tracking in our direction, and we'll have opportunities for showers and thunderstorms developing today. There will be some breaks built in, but overall a very active forecast period on the way. So here's a look at things in the short term. Scattered showers and thunderstorms on the way for us today. Later on tonight, the thunderstorms will end. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky with areas of dense fog developing. A few scattered rain showers possible for your Saturday. And again, we'll still see a few of those for a little bit before they back off overnight in the parts of Sunday morning. And then we're still going to be watching for some measurable rainfall coming up. But between now and as we head towards Sunday morning, some decent rainfall, especially in the northern parts of the state. Maybe not as much further down toward the south, except for some locally heavy downpours. But overall, we'll take what we can get as we make a dent in that drought. But otherwise, again, we're still going to have some humidity pumping in as well. Dew points overall in the lower to middle 60s for quite some time, but overall averaging in the lower 60s. But overall for today, a low 70s, scattered showers and thunderstorms, and a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, thunderstorms early, then clouds and fog overnight. Again, lows in the mid 50s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 70s, partly cloudy. There is a slight chance for a shower or storm, and that north wind at about 5 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Sunday. Showers and thunderstorms coming up for your Sunday. Again, highs in the upper 70s. Monday, showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid 80s. And then Tuesday, more showers and thunderstorms with highs in the low 80s.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Being raped is one of the worst fears that women have. So we take precautions to avoid dangerous situations. Graham Plattner blamed women for getting raped because he said we get effed up drunk. Mr. Plattner blamed the rapists, not the women. And now we learn Plattner used an app that's called a predator's paradise for child exploitation. Graham Plattner is disgusting, gross, and unfit for the Senate. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
Look at this. You got the MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia. You wait 250 years, then throw a party so big with the best baseball players on earth, it needs its own zip code. This is how America celebrates a birthday. At this point, it's not a game. It's us showing off. A night of American celebration, 250 years in the making. July 14th on Fox.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Several major Supreme Court decisions were handed down that will affect hundreds of thousands in the U.S., from a ruling on asylum seekers to gun rights. ABC's Karen Waugh is in Washington to break it all down.
This morning, reaction to major wins for President Trump's immigration agenda. First, the Supreme Court revived a policy allowing border agents to turn away asylum seekers at the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller declaring the country's asylum system all but shut down.
America's doors are closed fully to asylum seekers. We've set up agreements where if you want asylum, then we will find a country elsewhere in the world to take you.
In a separate decision, the Supreme Court's conservative majority ending temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Haitian and Syrian immigrants. Roughly 350,000 Haitians have lived and worked in the U.S. legally for years after fleeing violence in their home country or natural disasters like the 2010 earthquake. Ohio's Republican governor called the decision a mistake, saying Haitians were working and contributing to our community and economy yesterday. Today, it is now illegal to employ them. He noted sending them back to Haiti, where gangs control much of the country, could put them in danger. Advocates rallied in Springfield, Ohio, in support of the Haitian immigrant community.
They came to the United States to escape violence, instability, and danger. Going back in Haiti is not simply return home. It could mean return to a place where their lives are at risk.
The court's conservative majority also struck down a Hawaii law that required people to get permission from property owners before bringing guns into public businesses. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson dissenting, saying the court's objective is protecting guns, not consistently preserving any principle of law. Next week, the Supreme Court is set to rule on President Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship by executive order. It's one of the most highly anticipated decisions of the year that would affect millions of Americans. Karen Waugh, ABC News, Washington.
The U.S. military is rushing to help out in Venezuela. That country is reeling from back-to-back earthquakes that have already left hundreds of people dead and thousands injured. And now the Pentagon is moving assets and personnel into the country as U.S. rescue teams also head there to help. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
This morning, rescue workers in a race against the clock to find people trapped in the rubble after the twin earthquake disaster in Venezuela. Moments of joy as people are rescued, dragged from the ruins of buildings. This 4-year-old boy carried to safety. But the outlook is bleak, with hundreds already confirmed dead, thousands injured, and as many as 25,000 people unaccounted for. Earthquake experts warn the death toll could top 10,000. The massive magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes hit just 39 seconds apart. Aerial views show the extent of the devastation in the hard-hit city of La Guaira, building after building damaged or destroyed. And now, concerned that some buildings currently standing could collapse.
Even in my own building, there are many cracks in some of the apartments. In my own apartment, there's a lot of cracks in the walls.
Aid and rescue teams from around the world now on their way, including this team from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. The U.S. military sending 2 Navy ships and 2 planes to provide assistance. A Marine general will lead U.S. relief efforts. And in Miami, volunteers packing up supplies.
What are the things that are most in need right now?
Everything that's important. Food, medicines, all of the needs that they need over there, the people, because sometimes there are families that they lose everything.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, buying a computer, iPad, or video game is about to get more expensive. Prices are rising, and in some cases dramatically, because of a shortage of computer chips, now being called a crisis. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
2 tech giants are raising prices by hundreds of dollars on their most popular products, blaming the booming demand for memory chips, calling it chipflation.
AI is eating the world's memory chips.
Apple says it's increasing the MacBook Pro by $300 to nearly $2,000, and the iPad Air is up $150, now selling for $749. Microsoft joining suit, saying by August, some Xbox consoles will increase by $150. Why the big jump? The shortage of memory chips, which are being used in expanding artificial intelligence technology, leading to huge demand and increasing prices from the 3 companies that produce the chips.
It's the same memory that goes into your laptop. That same memory is the same thing that goes into data centers. And so everybody is racing to build these data centers, and that's what's eating up all of the world's chips by the truckload.
Consumers not happy.
What? The prices were already pretty raised.
I feel bad for anybody that ain't got that Xbox yet.
Apple explaining, we have never seen a component price increase this much, this quickly. Microsoft adding, the entire consumer electronics industry is struggling with the current components crisis. Experts warn prices may go even higher.
This is just the beginning of price increases. Unfortunately, Apple and Microsoft are 2 of the most premier players in this field. And if they are increasing their prices, we're going to see other competitors following suit.
iPhone prices remain unchanged for now. But with news that Apple is raising prices on other products, its stock fell nearly 5% Thursday. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll learn all about the Cryptozoology Museum here in Bangalore.
I'd love to get by. I haven't been by there yet.
Me either, but I'm excited.
We'll tell you all about it coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salad, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salad, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
And welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Friday, June 26th, 2026, and this is also National Canoe Day.
Canoes have been around for thousands of years and have come a long way since they were carved from tree trunks. They're a great way to get some exercise and to check out natural areas that wind through the countryside. In fact, you can try it for yourself at the Hirundo Wildlife Refuge in Old Town. They offer canoe rentals and guided paddles to help people get closer to nature.
Great way to learn how to canoe too.
It is,
you go
yeah.
up there, it's go on the, I think it's the Stillwater stream or push-off stream, and it's a nice easy paddle up through, and you see all kinds of wildlife.
Yeah, it's a nice little exercise, and like you said, get immersed with nature at the same time.
Yeah, blow off some steam.
Definitely.
So. All right, let's get to history. It was on this day back in 1819, the bicycle was patented by W.K. Clarkson Jr. He was one of many coming up with different bicycle designs at the time. And at the time, bikes were originally called a velocipede. Sounds like some kind of a dangerous insect to me.
Velociraptor is
Right,
what it reminds
a dinosaur
me of.
or something, yeah. Velocipede. All right, in 1917, U.S. troops entered World War I as American soldiers arrived in France. And in 1956 on this date, Congress approved the Federal Highway Act. It allocated billions of dollars to construct more than 41,000 miles of interstate highways. It was the largest construction project in the U.S. to date. Can't imagine our country before we had interstates.
I know, definitely an important investment there.
Yeah.
And in 1974, a pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum became the first item to be scanned with a barcode. In 1996, the Supreme Court found that the Virginia Military Institute's male-only admissions policy violated the 14th Amendment, and the first female cadets enrolled the following year. And in 1997, the first Harry Potter novel was published. It was called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the United Kingdom, but was named Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone here in the U.S. It also inspired a new generation of readers.
Boy, what a franchise that turned out to be, too.
Yeah, I remember being in school when those, some of the later ones that came out, and everyone wanted to get their hands on them. It was so popular.
I went with some friends to a midnight release one time.
Yeah.
Because they had to be there when the new book came out.
Yeah.
But it was just exciting to be there with everybody else.
So cool.
All right, for birthdays today, they include actor Nick Offerman. He's 56 today. Actor Jacob Elordi. He is 29, and singer Ariana Grande is 33 years old today. Happy birthday to them and to you also, if your birthday is today.
Definitely a lot of successful people there.
Yeah, Mr. Hunkalicious.
Hunkalicious,
Yeah,
Craig's favorite word.
He's like the hunk of the moment, right?
Yeah, he definitely is.
So.
He's been in a ton of stuff. Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
He's Hunkalicious too.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. We are watching an area of low pressure moving in from the west and going toward the east, causing some rain showers to develop this morning. Even some thunderstorms up in parts of Canada right now. We are not seeing any of that. Just some rain that's currently approaching, some decent downpours at times. We're definitely welcoming now with some areas still dealing with a little bit of drought. We'll still deal with some thunderstorm opportunities on and off throughout the daytime period today. But as we do push forward in time, Futurecast showing some scattered showers and thunderstorms on and off today. As we head towards later on tonight, the precipitation will back off. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky with areas of dense fog developing. As we do push forward in time, notice we still have some areas dealing with some drought conditions. So again, we'll definitely welcome the precipitation as we do make a dent in that drought. But as we do take a look at the forecast for today, lower 70s, scattered showers and some thunderstorms, and that south wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we do check out your hourly forecast for today, there's some rain, some thunderstorms expected today too. Temperatures not warming up all that much, only making it into the upper 60s to lower 70s for the afternoon period. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Hunkalicious.
That'll be his new nickname.
That'll be his nickname. Still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports.
And we'll learn about the cryptozoology, if I could speak, Cryptozoology Museum. Don't go away.
We can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
and we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
I served 2 tours in the Middle East, 21 years in the Air Force.
I served in a field artillery unit.
The Maine National Guard. I respect Graham Plattner's service, but he doesn't respect ours.
Plattner falsely accused a military hero of war crimes.
He said a Purple Heart recipient didn't deserve to live after being shot, trying to save his own troops.
And Plattner blames his Nazi tattoo on military culture? That's insulting. Graham Plattner's a fraud. He's unfit to represent Maine.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes and More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
For the first time ever on live television, the Stonington Lobster Boat Races are coming to ABC7. Fast work boats, big horsepower, and Downey's pride on full display. Watch Maine's lobster fishermen put their boats to the task in one of the state's most exciting summer traditions. Don't miss the live debut of the Stonington Lobster Boat Races. Sunday, July 12th from 11:30 to 2. The Stonington Lobster Boat Races, live on ABC7.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back in, folks. Being a kid this time of year is just the best. Endless activities all over the map. And the Maine baseball program is holding a day camp for kids this week. Over 50 Little League age players are spending their first official week of the summer at Mahaney Diamond, growing their love for the game while sharpening their skills with Division I coaches and players.
We get in for a full week and, get to be around some of our players here at Maine, some of our coaches, and, morning time, it's usually we're teaching some fundamentals of the game, teaching these kids how to, really love the game of baseball, which is, super important for me and all of our players here. And then right now, for example, we're at a lunch break and, kids are playing wall ball, flying around, meeting new friends, connecting with friends they have from school and, just loving the nice summer weather.
As you can tell from his answer, there may be times where it gets a little baseball heavy, but there is still plenty of time for the kids to be kids, which is the ultimate goal of the summer camp.
Yeah, we do some wall ball. We get in and watch some old school baseball movies like The Sandlot. We've done some baseball trivia for some prizes. The kids really enjoy that, and then we'll, do some wiffle ball and some kickball in that free time, and then we do a lot of, controlled scrimmages where we can, let the kids go have some fun, but also, teach them, when there's some teachable moments. The ultimate goal is for these kids to meet new friends and be with their friends and just love the game of baseball. I mean, I think we can all think back to summer camps we had when we were kids, and, it's just an amazing time.
Let's swing it over to the NBA and the Boston Celtics, who made their second selection of the NBA draft on Wednesday. The Celtics selected forward Dylan Mitchell out of St. John's with the 40th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft. And for the second night in a row, Boston has selected a tall forward to amp up their front court presence. The 6'8" forward specializes on defense, but he isn't just a guy that you stick in the paint. His high athleticism allows him to switch and guard the wing, which is crucial when guarding some of the best outside shooters in the NBA. Mitchell averaged 8.7 rebounds and 2 assists last year with St. John's, willing his team to a Sweet 16 appearance in this year's March Madness tournament. Celtics VP Mike Zarin says Mitchell is a guy they've had their eyes on for a long time.
His athleticism stood out. It took him a few years to sort of grow from there. We followed him another year at Texas and then Cincinnati. And then this past year at St. John's, I think, I don't know if you guys know the coach there, but he can really coach. And I think Dylan sort of found more purpose there. He became one of the best perimeter defenders in college basketball.
An exciting future ahead for the Celtics with those 2 draft picks, but let's go to the other side of things. Well, the summer drags on for the Red Sox and their fans as the team continues to struggle and losses seem to be getting worse as the Sox most recently dropped a series to one of the worst teams in baseball, the Colorado Rockies. In the first game of the series, Aldous Chapman blew a save which allowed the Rockies to walk it off and win. The Sox recovered with a win in Game 2 in the rubber match, and the Red Sox held a 6-3 lead in the third game until they allowed the Rockies to rattle off 5 runs between the 7th and 8th innings to come back and win it. Marcelo Mayer had a costly error in the game. Here he was, and here's what he had to say in the locker room afterward.
Didn't get the ball with the glove. It just can't happen. Just a brutal error, obviously. It ended us costing us a game. To me, like, that's the most routine route by I could possibly get. This game's 100% on me.
Well, folks, another day of World Cup action is in the books, so let's bring you up to speed with the latest scores. We'll take a look, and it's Curacao with a 2-0 loss to the Ivory Coast. The Netherlands with a 3-1 win over Tunisia. Japan and Sweden tie 1 apiece. Germany has a loss to Ecuador 2-1, and Ecuador is heading to the knockout round for the first time in 20 years, and that knockout round is just around the corner. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just 1 block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
We invited passionate soccer fans to push Nissan vehicles to the limit, just like they do with their teams. Further proof that the Nissan lineup is tested and trusted by the toughest. Hurry in to bring home a winning offer at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now well-qualified buyers get 0% APR on select model trims or get up to $5,750 total savings on select Frontier trims.
T-Mobile has the best network. That's why there's no better place to get iPhone 17 Pro on them.
Hold on. Is this big enough? We should have music, lights, banners. I mean, you gotta feel it. Get the most powerful iPhone ever on the best network. I should dance.
This is big. At T-Mobile, get the incredible iPhone 17 Pro on us, on the best network.
I'm gonna do a flip. Nailed it.
Critical investments are strengthening Maine, thanks to Senator Susan Collins. The biggest investment in our rural hospitals in decades. New investments for working waterfronts, like the breakwater in Eastport. Investments to help homeless veterans find housing. Investments for Maine to train new doctors and nurses. Thousands of investments, thanks to the power of Senator Susan Collins. Call Senator Collins and ask her to keep delivering for Maine.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just 1 block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we're happy to be joined by our old friend Chris Packard this morning. Good to see you, Chris.
Yeah, good
Normally,
to see you.
when you're here as an author or you're organizing some big authors event. Today, you are here as part of the International Cryptozoology Museum.
That's right.
Another one of your titles. You're one of the.
I'm the assistant director
There you go.
at
There you
the
go.
International Cryptozoology Museum.
So this just opened up this month, and if people have been living under a rock, or if you're just visiting for the first time, what is the museum all about?
Oh, well, it's so exciting. I mean, what isn't it about?
Yeah.
So it's about mysterious creatures, things that go, bump in the night, things that are in the woods and waters of all across the world. All these mysterious creatures that are not yet known to science, and some that have recently been discovered, and some that maybe are thought to be extinct but are coming back. And so we have the oldest and largest cryptozoology museum in the world, the only nonprofit one, and we've got about 20,000 artifacts that celebrate culture and celebrate art and celebrate the science of these creatures. And it's just a celebration of things like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, and all of these fun things that just everybody loves. So it's great for all ages just to come and just see these things that you really literally can't see anywhere else.
Yeah, I was kind of curious with the exhibit portion of it. Is there kind of like an exhibit for each creature, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah, so it does definitely have sort of thematic cases, and then we've got these, so there's like a sea serpent area, and like a dogman or werewolf sort of area, and then we have a lot of Bigfoot stuff that's sort of like the poster child of cryptozoology and what gets people really excited. So we have 2 life-size statues made by these amazing taxidermists that are reconstructions of Bigfoot, and those are probably our most popular exhibits. But we also have a life-size Mothman and giant squid and all sorts of like taxidermy of more ordinary biological creatures that are known to science as well that you can compare them with.
That's so cool. I really want to go over there now.
Maybe you and I can go by someday.
We should.
We'll team up with Chris. I was going to bring that up. And
let's do it.
Do a little tour.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah,
put it on the news. What is it about this that you love? I mean, you wrote a whole book about mythical creatures. I love this kind of stuff too. But what is it about this?
Well, so I'm a biologist by training, but I wrote a folklore book about all of the mythical, magical, and cryptozoological creatures in Maine. And so I just love the story, the way that people throughout history have sort of found mystery in the world, and no matter where you go, there's stories of like big hairy men and sea serpents and little people and other things that go bump in the night and in the woods and in the water, and we always wonder like what's down there, and so I just love the exploration of this, and I love that some of these things are real, and there's also real creatures that are being discovered all of the time, and we still don't know everything about what's out there. The world is a big and mysterious place, and I just love that there is still this search and this passion for everybody really to wonder what's there, what's possible, and what's outside.
Well, people can check it out for themselves at the museum. It just opened up on Broadway, but you have another event coming up next month. You want people to know about?
We do. So we opened up after being closed since February. We moved here from Portland. We opened up on June 1st, and then so we've been open, and it's been amazing being able to welcome people in and show everybody what we've got again. But then we also, July 11th and 12th is our official grand opening weekend, and we have cryptozoologists, authors, and experts from around the country flying in, and they're going to be at tables. There's going to be an evening reception for members on Saturday that's going to have some talks, and then there's going to be some talks and presentations on Sunday as well, which is our founder, Lauren Coleman's birthday. It's his 79th birthday, and we're going to have sort of a celebration of cryptozoology there. We're going to have some vendors in the back, and we're going to have a food truck there for a while, and we should have some live reptiles for people to see through a local rescue, and it's going to be just so much fun, and it's free with paid admission, except for that reception, which you have to be a member for, and that's going to be super special.
All right.
Oh, well,
Sounds
that's awesome.
Sounds great. Again, she and I, we're going to come visit you sometime in the next
month. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yes, we will.
For sure. Love to have you. Love to have everybody. It's something amazing that's here in Bangor.
Real quickly, is there a website people can go to?
There is. Cryptozoologymuseum.com, and of course you can find us all over social media as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in again.
Always good to see you.
Yes.
Good to see you.
We're going to send it back to Devin now for a final look at that forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Let's check out the wave heights this morning at around 2 feet according to the buoys, and still looking reasonable further off towards the north and east. No advisories along the coast or even inland either. We're looking pretty good. Farther out towards sea at around 3 to 4 feet, so no major activity looking out toward the Atlantic Ocean. Water temperatures in the upper 50s this morning, and water temperatures still in the 50s and 60s at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we do have some rain showers developing. At times in Canada, we've even had some thunderstorms. No thunderstorms for us at this time. We'll be watching for those developing throughout the daytime period today. As we do zoom things out, that area low pressure is tracking in our direction, and we'll have opportunities for showers and thunderstorms developing today. There will be some breaks built in, but overall a very active forecast period on the way. So here's a look at things in the short term. Scattered showers and thunderstorms on the way for us today. Later on tonight, the thunderstorms will end. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky with areas of dense fog developing. A few scattered rain showers possible for your Saturday. And again, we'll still see a few of those for a little bit before they back off overnight in the parts of Sunday morning. And then we're still going to be watching for some measurable rainfall coming up. But between now and as we head towards Sunday morning, some decent rainfall, especially in the northern parts of the state. Maybe not as much further down toward the south, except for some locally heavy downpours. But overall, we'll take what we can get as we make a dent in that drought. But otherwise, again, we're still going to have some humidity pumping in as well. Dew points overall in the lower to middle 60s for quite some time, but overall averaging in the lower 60s. But overall for today, a low 70s, scattered showers and thunderstorms, and a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, thunderstorms early, then clouds and fog overnight. Again, lows in the mid 50s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 70s, partly cloudy. There is a slight chance for a shower or storm in that north wind at about 5 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Sunday. Showers and thunderstorms coming up for your Sunday. Again, highs in the upper 70s. Monday, showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid 80s. And then Tuesday, more showers and thunderstorms with highs in the low 80s.
Purple Co is open and here to stay. Come join a growing community of like-minded people with monthly events, arts and concerts, daily deals, and the best products and prices in the state. Plus, don't miss Purple Co Bangor's annual party on 4/18. Now with 4 locations from Portland to Bangor. Come check us out today.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Just announced, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500, Equinox, and Trax models, with no payments until after Labor Day. Because you've earned this summer. Now it's time to go get it.
Visit your main Chevy dealers.
What is Spectrum Internet? It's the fastest and most reliable internet.
It's connecting with my followers out there and in here.
It's secure internet for you and your family.
It's keeping kids like us safe online.
It's Wi-Fi that stays on even when the power doesn't.
Staying connected no matter what.
So what's Spectrum Internet? It's everything you want it to be. Switch today at spectrum.com.
Get ready for mowing season, for hauling season, and exploring season. Get ready for tearing it up, cutting it down, and working all around season. Because it's bad boy season, all year long. Bad boy, power, performance, attitude.
Purple Co is open and here to stay. Come join a growing community of like-minded people with monthly events, arts and concerts, daily deals, and the best products and prices in the state. Plus, don't miss Purple Co Bangor's annual party on 4/18. Now with 4 locations from Portland to Bangor. Come check us out today.
A popular European scooter has a milestone anniversary, and many enthusiasts gather to celebrate. Fans of the Vespa scooter, which turned 80 years old yesterday, gathered from around the world in Rome for 4 days of celebrations. The first Vespa scooter came out at the end of World War II when the Peugeot company, which had been making military vehicles, switched gears and manufactured a scooter that became a symbol of Italy's post-war recovery. Peugeot says that the Vespas were partially designed as a scooter for women and priests in the late 1940s so that they could still zip around in long skirts. Vespa, which means wasp in Italian, got the name for looking like the long, rounded body of a wasp. This week's Vespa anniversary includes a parade through the streets of Rome on Saturday, where organizers say that they are expecting 15,000 people to participate. Wow, that's a lot.
I always thought Vespas were pretty cool.
They are.
I kind of wish we lived more in a place where you could use them more.
I know.
A little tough rate.
I would totally get one.
Yeah, I could see you buzzing to work out there on Route 9 through Clifton.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Route 9. It might be a little unsafe, but
watch out for the potholes, Janessa.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning. But as always, we thank you for joining us.
Beep, beep. And a little horn down there. So, have a great weekend, everybody.
Today on 25 Birds Away, his performance in Ballpark Babachola was described by some critics as not on our radar. It's Billy Gardell. And joining Billy are boyfriend and girlfriend Greg and Jillian. She appeared in the movie A Futile and Stupid Gesture, which is also a very honest summary of her IMDb credits. It's Jackie Stone. And joining her are returning champions, engaged couple Nicole and Lynn. Now here's your host, Meredith Vieira.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Hello, you beautiful people. Hi, kids.
Jamie was extra mean today.
You know, I think there's something the matter with Jamie.
Nasty.
That's what I
When
think.
he has an odd day, they say he woke up on the right side of the bed.
Well, Jackie, I didn't realize that you've been in this business since you were a little girl. What's your fondest memory of those early
Pint-sized
years?
baby Jackie. I think it was the morning that I found out I booked an episode of The Nanny when I was 11 or 12. I'd been auditioning at that point for 2 or 3 years.